ये हाय, मेरा नाम अतुल आनंद है। मैं आपको रिक्वायरमेंट समझा देता हूँ। लेट मी डीप डाइव इनटू रिक्वायरमेंट. So what the requirement is, we want a cleaning management system in that a lot of things is already implemented. Okay, I'll go one by one, and this is the pages what we are having now. Let me increase this. Okay, no issues. Let me start from the page 1. So this is a mobile app, and we want this to be implemented purely on the Android. uh, you can use Java or Kotlin, anything, but currently we have already developed few of the stuff in Kotlin, so we will recommend you to do it in Kotlin so that you can reuse what we have already implemented. So see, this will be the login page. Here, if you see, let me zoom in to see it better. So this is the login page. Here station name will be mentioned, and a person has to mention their username and password, and they have to mention as which user group he wants to log in, whether you wants to log in as a contractor, supervisor, or railway admin. So these three users have different roles and privileges that we will be assigning it. We have the page to assign the privileges for each type of user as well, and then the person has to submit. So in short, while sign in, the person has to select the station, he has to enter username and password, he has to select at which type of user he wants to log in, and then he has to submit. This will do the login. This is the home page. So if you see it here, there are these are the pages: rating current occurrence of current shift, rating today, rating specific date, and all this stuff. So if you see it here, it will have rating current occurrence of current shift. Let me explain this. So what is the expectation is, uh, let me explain this through this logbook. So our main product idea is to go digital for this requirement. So currently what is happening particularly in railway in this example is, they are working in different shifts. So primarily they are having three shifts: morning, afternoon, and evening. So we are just giving the name as first shift, second shift, and third shift. First shift starts from 6 o'clock in the morning to 14 means nothing but 2 p.m. In railway we use the timing or clock as 24-hour thing. So 6 to 14. Then the second shift starts from 14 to 22. The third shift starts from 22 to 6 a.m. in the morning next day. Okay, and here if you see, this is the task name, so task description you can say: all circulating area north and south. This is the task 1. If you see this, cleaning, sanitization, and disinfection services off, this is nothing but the task group we are specifying as task group. And this cleaning is nothing but service type, if you see it here. So this is the task group, this is the service type, and this is the task description. If you see it here, in first shift, this task 1 needs to be done 3 times. So the frequency is 3 for task 1 for shift 1. Similarly, we can see frequency is 2 for task 1 for shift 2. So while giving a identification to each box, we can say it as task 1 shift 1 occurrence 1. So occurrence 1 will be this box. Similarly, the another next box will be corresponding to task 1 shift 1 occurrence 2, so on and so forth. Let's say if we want to identify this box, so what would be that is task 3, this corresponds to this, so task 3 shift 1 occurrence 1. Similarly, if you want to do it for this, this will become task 3 shift 2 occurrence 1, because it's spanning in one occurrence only, the frequency is 1 only. If you see it here, this is nil, so data need not to be entered for this box, but the identification of this box will be task 8 occurrence task 8 shift 2 occurrence 1 is not editable, is not, we don't need to write rating for this. And we can see it here for this task. Let's say task number 17, total occurrence, the frequency for per day is 10, in which 4 is happening on shift 1, another 4 is happening on shift 2, and the last 2 is happening on shift 3. One more clarification over here is, even if task group changes, the sequence of the task will not change. Let's say we can in that idea we can easily think of is this particular task which is specifying as B in group task of disinfection. The first task, this all office of station building, will be task 26, and if we see the box over here is task 46 shift 1 occurrence 1, because frequency is 1 over here. If you go deep down, for this task we'll have two tasks, garbage collection and garbage disposition. So we can see 25, after 25 it will be 26, 27, 28, so this will be 29 and this will be 30. So the 29th task, the description will be same, but nature of service will be garbage collection. For 30th task, the description will be same, but the nature of task will be garbage disposal. So for garbage collection, the frequency, total frequency for the day is 8, which is divided in 3, 3 and 2. So if you see it here, we can say task 29 shift 2 and occurrence 1. Okay. Similarly, if you see it here, this box will comprise of task number 30 shift 3 and occurrence 1. So this how this needs to be implemented. One more part in this, if you see task 1 occurrence shift 1 occurrence 1, so the time gap in which this task needs to be done or the rating needs to be given is from 6 o'clock to 14 o'clock. We will divide it in three equal segments. So we have this Excel ready for shift 1, which is spanning from 6 o'clock to 14 o'clock. If the occurrence is 1, if the frequency is just 1, then occurrence 1 will lies between 6 o'clock to 14 o'clock. But at the same time, if frequency is 2, then the occurrence 1 will lie between 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Henceforth, the second occurrence of this particular task having frequency as 2 lies from 10 o'clock to 14 o'clock. Similarly, let's say if the same task, let's say any task having frequency 3 for shift 1, then the division of time in that will be from 6 o'clock to 8:40 in the morning, it will lies for the occurrence 1. From 8:40 to 11:20, it will lies to occurrence 2, and from 11:20 to 14, it will lies to occurrence 3. And if a task, let's say in any example it will come, I will show in the exact example. For shift 1, if the frequency is 4, then from 6 to 8 once it needs to be done, and rating needs to be given between 6 am to 8 am. The second occurrence is supposed to happen between 8 am to 10 am, so rating needs to be done given for the second occurrence of that particular task. The third occurrence lies between 10 am to 12 noon, so rating needs to be done within that time. The fourth occurrence of fourth frequency of shift 1 will lies between 12 to 14. So if you see it here, this particular task having frequency 3 for shift 1. So if you see it here, for shift 1, if you see, this particular box will be active only from 6 o'clock to 8:40 am. So see, if you go to current rating occurrence of current shift, this should come as this diagram. Here if you see, this should come like this. So task number, so here if you see, it will show only the current occurrence of the particular task. At the first part here, this will be a task group. So task group value, in this case it will be cleaning, sanitization and disinfection services off. So I can even mention it, for example this. Let me edit that itself rather than writing a new thing. Okay, this will be task name. In this case it is all circulating area north and south. If you see, if the time is 11:11, that means for this particular task, if you see, the occurrence is 3, the frequency is 3 in the first shift. So 11:11 lies between first shift, and in first shift which occurrence the frequency is 3. So we will refer this table and see 11:12 lies in 8:40 to 11:20. So this cell will be active. So it will be this active cell, what it is being shown here. This represents task 1, shift 1, occurrence 2. So any data entered here should get stored corresponding to this cell, and the user which is trying to give rating through this page should only be able to give rating corresponding to that particular shift or occurrence which lies at this particular time, and this time should be taken from server time, not from the client time. So if we use the client time, then anywhere at any time a person can change his time in his mobile and that can be overwritten. So we will always refer the server time in this case. Hope it's clear. Let me know if it is little confusing. Just go through once. That is the reason I am creating a recording, so you can easily go second time to see if there is any difference. Okay, coming forward, so if someone clicks on this pending, if data is not entered, if the rating is not entered, he should be able to click on this pending. So this page should be open. So what is this is status. He can choose from a drop down whether it is a pending, incomplete or complete. So if a person thinks that the vendor will be not be able to do this, he can simply mark it as incomplete as well. So if he marks it as an incomplete, then the default rating will be 0. He won't be able to give any rating. The rating value will be 0. Let me show you the picture of what a raw image looks like for this implementation. See, this will be like this. So this will be the task name here, if you can easily see. This will be the short slot, task number and the count. Task number and task name. This should be task group at here, and then task name, this task number and the name. So in this case what should be written is cleaning and sanitization disinfection services of 1 all circulating area north and south. Okay, and if it is incomplete, then the corresponding value will be 0. If the status is incomplete, if a supervisor tries to update the rating, it will not be overwritten. In backend, both ratings will, okay. If a status is incomplete, you can't select the star. By default, the value of the rating will be 0. If a person selects completed, then he can give rating from 1 to 4. There will be just 4 star, maximum star is 4 star. The rating lies between 0 to 4. Here he can update multiple pictures. In current implementation, what APK file and implementation code I will be sharing, it will be having option to upload multiple images. Here for each images we need to store latitude, longitude and the time in Indian IST format. Each image will have a name in the format of task number, shift number, occurrence number and picture number, picture 1, picture 2 or something like that. Okay, so we can easily identify each picture at which task or which corresponding to which occurrence it was given, and even we can add date. Station and date, station and date, code and date. So it will have a big image name, but that name will signify everything, and each user will have access to write a comment. So each user can update picture and write comment, and one limitation is only the supervisor will be able to give rating, but images and comments can be written by any supervisor or contractor. So there is only one difference. Supervisor can give rating, but anything else can be done by supervisor or contractor, both. Then he can do the submit. Here one thing more, if a supervisor trying to update the rating, it will not overwrite. In backend, both the rating will be get stored, but to display only the last rating will be used. For display or download, display / download, only the last rating will be used. So in backend we will have the information that the rating was changed from this to this, but to display we will give you the updated ones. Okay. Multiple things is already implemented over here. We can just check the current implementation what I will be sharing across. Only the geotagging thing what I was referring here, that name of the image, that latitude and longitude should be active. Okay, that need to be added new. Then this is, that was, if you see, this is the page. It will have one task name and just one occurrence, and that need to be taken from dynamically from the time. Let's say now this is 11:20, so at 11:20 it will change, and corresponding to particular to task 1, let's say for task 1 the time was changing. So once this will be 11:21, this the third occurrence of the first shift will be executed for task 1, and even if the value, it will corresponds to that the third occurrence. Let's say if this value is entered, then instead of pending, it will show the number of stars. Let's say in this case it is 4 star. So here instead of 4, it will display, instead of pending, it will display 4. And once a person clicks on this 4, the same page will be opened. Depending upon the privilege, a person can add new picture or add comments, but he won't be able to delete any already existing image or already existing comments. He can simply add it, he won't be able to delete it. The rating needs to be done only, can be updated by only supervisor. Contractor can see the given rating by supervisor. Okay, coming to the next page, this is read only page, and if you see this 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th pages are similar, only few differences there. I'll explain what the difference is. Here if you see, read only rating today, by name itself it is signifying this data belongs to today only. So in this what will happen is, it will list down all the table thing. So task 1 and this thing, if you closely look, task 1, the name of the task 1, cleaning, sanitization, disinfection services of, this is the group, task group, and this is the task 1, and this belongs to the task category. So if you see it here, this belongs to task 1. So in task 1 you can easily see the for shift 1 occurrence is 3, for shift 2 occurrence is 2, for shift 3 occurrence is just 1. So to identify which belongs to which shift, we have made two type of color coding. One will be the box color. So box color will be different, and it will signify it belongs to shift 1 or shift 2 or shift 3. If data is already present, if the rating was given, this will give the hyperlink of 4, 3, something like that. If you can see it here, this page will look like this. So date will be given, the date here, it will be a download button. Here it will be red. For the first shift, the box, the color of the box will be red, pink and green, and the text, the value of the text will be in blue, and the value of the text will be, if the rating value is 4, then it will be green. If the rating value is 3 star, then it will be orange. If the rating value is 2 star, it will be yellow. If the rating value is just 1, it will be simple red. If the rating value is 0, then it will be a bold dark red. So if you see this, it will have the first task name. This represents the shift number 1, shift number 2, shift number 3. This will have like this, the border color, as I said. This will correspond to the numeric value. The only difference between 4th and 5th is here we'll have a calendar. So in this calendar we can simply identify, put a date, which particular date info we want. It may be 17th August, 17th November by default, but if you want to see the previous data, maybe of 16th November or maybe previous year data, a simple calendar will come up like this, and we can select a date and that information will come. If a person logged in with a privilege to write it, he will be able to write, but here if you see, it's just the read only. In both these cases, he will be just having the read permission. A person who is having the write permission, he will be able to view these pages, and if this view page is there with the write permission, so he will be able to write the value of today in this particular page. And if a person is having access to this particular page, then the person will have to select date. He can select the calendar and he will navigate to that particular date, and he can change or add a new rating of this. Okay, and this is the page where we will assign the permission. So here if you see, read permission will be always there for any of the user. So if you see this read specific thing will have everyone, every user, maybe contractor or supervisor will have access to this. But for this write permission, these two pages will only to those who have this access, and this particular page will only be accessible by railway admin. So this assign editable special request is here, grant permission to add rating for today. So by default this calendar will select this 17th November date, and he can add the particular user, which user he wants to be given this grant permission for today, and then save. If he wants to give the permission to change in any specific date, let's say of the 1st November, 2nd November or any of the date, he can select the date from this calendar, select the user from which user he wants to give the access, and he can save. So this is also implemented, it's already implemented over here. So there are two tasks now which is not implemented, is this one is the first task to implement this page, and the second task is to implement a download feature. So once a person clicks on download, a PDF of this category needs to get downloaded. These values are hard coded, these values will never change. Only corresponding to the date, let's say if it is of 16th November or 17th November, whichever data is already filled, that data will get populated and this PDF will get generated. So this is a huge project, it is having 13 pages, but I am just breaking it down for the assignment. Here the first page is good enough to be downloaded. We can see upcoming features later, but the second task is to implement this download feature. Yeah, thanks for understanding and listening these features, and I hope if any of these tasks, task 1 or task 2, so task 1 is nothing but implementing this page and task 2 is nothing but to download feature of this category. So any of these two tasks is implemented, or if you need any clarification on this, just reach me out on my WhatsApp number. You can simply WhatsApp me, no need to call on that number, just raise your query, concern or clarification through message. I'll be glad to help you out. So this is the final stage for recruitment. Thanks for listening.